Good morning and good afternoon, and welcome to another episode of Before Coffee. It is our Thursdays 13 episode where we have Roger drew up a list for us of what did he say again?
The best original theme songs for television shows.
There we go. So nobody wrote it for any other reason but for the TV show. Got our jingles, got our theme songs everyone's learned. And this is Before Coffee, the father and daughter comprehensive news of Planet Earth podcast, where we look up our stories 10 to 15 minutes before we started. We haven't had any caffeine, just rolled out of bed, and we're ready to go into our headlines. Today on Thursdays 13, several arrested in Serbia as tensions mount ahead of an anti-corruption rally in Belgrade on the weekend.
And this is Roger from the United States. We're going to talk about the wreck of a sunken luxury yacht being examined, and BP is trying to merge with Shell. We'll see what happens.
EU's von der Leyen urges Hungary to allow Pride despite the ban.
Today we're going to talk about Thursdays 13. We're going to have the 13 best original theme songs for television shows.
In our culture news, Sabrina Carpenter unveils alternate album cover approved by God for controversial new album.
Yes, and it's National Barcode Day. So if you're a coder, just sit down at the bar all day. Oh, that's not the kind of barcode, is it? No, probably not. It's June 26, 2025 on Before Coffee.
I'm sure it'll be fine. We're gonna get through it today, and we're going to, happy Friday Eve, as I like to say. And we'll roll our first wheel here. So the quicker the show's done, the quicker I don't have to worry about it. This is the most complicated stream I run is the Before Coffee stream. So there's plenty of stuff that could go wrong. Plenty of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
We rolled. It will tell me what it rolled because I wasn't looking. Non sequitur. You have to give me a non sequitur for our first story. I'm only doing one story each section today because the Thursday 13 episodes are always so much longer, like 30 minutes longer than all the other ones. The first one is an update from Serbia.
During this one. Okay.
Yeah, from Jovana Gek. Coming out of Belgrade. Police in Serbia have arrested several people accused of allegedly plotting to overthrow the government as tensions soared ahead of the major anti-government rally planned this weekend in the capital, Belgrade. Maybe they do want to overthrow you because as a democratic country, they have the right to overthrow you, actually. I know. Police said 6 were detained on Wednesday, which was yesterday, the 25th of June, suspected of preparing criminal acts against the constitutional order, security of Serbia, calling for violent change of the constitutional order. At least one of the other university students was arrested earlier this week, preparing an act of terrorism based on his private conversations over a mobile phone. Great, they're listening to your conversations, reading your messages, and deciding you're about to commit a terrorism. Hundreds today on the 26th of June demonstrated against the arrest in Belgrade. Protesting university students have called Saturday's rally to press their demand for an early election after nearly 8 months of almost daily anti-corruption demonstrations that have shaken the populist government of the president Alexander Vučić. I don't think he's very populist anymore. It sounds like he's not very populist. Persistent protests started in November after a renovated rail station canopy collapsed, killed 16 people. We've talked about this many times on the show, but we just got to keep updating this because nobody else is talking about Serbia. Literally not, when I'm scrolling through social media, nothing on Serbia. 16 people were killed in the collapsing rail station, and it was blamed on rampant government corruption where all that money is being negligently spent on infrastructure. It's going somewhere else, into my pocket. Into the pocket of Alexander Vučić. University students have been a key force behind the nationwide movement. Vučić and his right-wing Serbian Progressive Party, as in non-progressive party, have refused the students' demand for a snap vote, instead accusing the protesters of planning to spur violence at Saturday's gathering. Police allege the detained group met last week in a hotel in the central town of Kraljevo to plan a violent change of government and attacks on police and pro-government media outlets. One of the suspects had a gun and ammunition, they said. Well, I mean, not to be an American about this, but it's not really a violent protest. One person, he had a pistol! One guy had a pistol. I didn't say which gun. I guess if it was an AR-15, you could probably have done some damage to some government official, you know. But yeah, I would like to know what gun they actually had. If I find out later, it was like a 9mm revolver. He had a gun. Like, yes, you can kill people with a revolver, but you know, it's not exactly a mass violent massacre or anything. No other details were immediately available, probably because it's not that big of a deal. And if it was a big a deal, they would have been saying. That's all I'm saying. I mean, just lie. The Serbian government is so corrupt at this point. Just lie and say, you know what, they had millions of guns. Here's some fake photo, AI photos. Look, here, they have masks. And look, we made it up. This fake terrorist threat. Right. Serbian media reported those arrested include opposition politician, very convenient, an opposition politician was found at this meeting. Veterans of the wars. Veterans, better watch out. Fun fact for anyone out there who's not privy to uprisings, veterans are your first go-to at the front line because they've actually took an oath to protect the state, usually, and not the government, but the state, okay? The people of the country. So they know how to, handle a gun.
And they've been on the receiving end. They've been on the receiving end of the government's generosity, let's call it. Anyway.
Exactly. They know all the ins and outs, so veterans are definitely the first people you want to look for. If you want to stop, your corrupt government for being overthrown in a coup, you get rid of the veterans right away. These were veterans of the war of the 1990s and others, I don't know, more students, I guess. Authorities made similar arrests back in March ahead of what was the biggest ever anti-government protest in the Balkan country, drew hundreds of thousands of people. Vucic's loyalist also set up a camp in a park outside his office, which still stands. The otherwise peaceful gathering on March 15th came to an abrupt end when part of the crowd suddenly scattered in panic, triggering allegations that authorities used a sonic weapon against peaceful protesters, which they have denied. You know what? That's right, we did a crime. We've dispersed their peaceful protesters illegally. I don't know all Serbia's rules, but I think most countries, especially in Europe, have you're allowed to peacefully protest and stand outside the office if you want to. Not for Vucic, though. A former extreme nationalist, he has become increasingly authoritarian since coming to power over a decade ago. Keywords there, guys. Another indicator of possible fascism. Decade-long power. Though he formally says he wants Serbia to join the European Union, critics say Vucic has stifled democratic freedoms as he strengthened ties with Russia and China. Those guys love authoritarian governments. So, who are you going to choose? Being in power for 50 years or letting somebody get voted in as an attack on the government? We want a new election. No! Please give us a new election. No! Very suspicious. Very suspicious.
See, Reichstag fire.
Yeah.
Oh, that's my non sequitur. Not necessarily a non sequitur, but Reichstag fire. See, George Bush and Dick Cheney falsifying evidence to invade Iraq. But if it's official government propaganda, boy, it's got to be true. Anyway.
Yep. It's very convenient to just say, hey, they're trying to get me, so I'm allowed to do whatever I want to them. It's like, okay, I wish I could use that excuse.
Well, the world is full of victims. Get in line.
Because he was out to get me, you see? I had to hit him with my car.
We're all victims now. Eventually, just everybody will just be a victim.
Wow.
We're all just being persecuted by the other guy. All right.
Okay, let's start our next segue and your only story, I guess, for today.
No, there's two, but they're shorter.
Stories.
Yeah, well, yeah.
And I've got a limerick about them. Woohoo! Time to get my limericks out.
You can combine the limerick. Sunken ships and oil companies Oil companies, instead of diversifying, just conglomerating into one big, horrible corporation that we can all bow down to
We're
as they
entering
do whatever they want.
corporatism. Woohoo!
Yes, sir. Our monopolies are just so good for you. I just feel warm and fuzzy inside. BBC.com has a different story. This is about a wreck of the sunken luxury yacht Bayesian to be examined. This is Sarah Rainsford, Eastern and Southern Europe correspondent. Yeah. Bayesian? What'd you say?
Oh, no, I was just like, BSN or Bayesian? Bayesian.
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 I'm going to say Bayesian because
okay.
Yeah, it's easier to say. The wreckage of the Bayesian super yacht is now on dry land in Sicily after being lifted from the seabed and carried off on a slow final journey from the spot where it sank in the storm last summer, killing 7 passengers and crew. The yacht, which belonged to the British tech entrepreneur Mike Lynch, has been recovered in a complex, we reported on this, in a complex $30 million or $22.2 million pound operation to allow Italian prosecutors to inspect the wreck as part of their ongoing investigation. Mr. Lynch and his teenage daughter were among 7 passengers and crew who died when the Bayesian was knocked over by sudden extreme winds and sank within minutes. Their bodies were retrieved by divers several days later.
That's awful. Did we talk about this? I feel like we talked about this.
Yes, because he was a rich guy, kind of famous. Other small vessels in the same area that day survived the storm intact, leaving experts struggling to understand why the luxury yacht was affected so badly. Like, hey, was it sunk on purpose? At the time, prosecutors in Sicily announced a criminal inquiry into the potential manslaughter and negligent shipwreck, describing its outcome as completely unpredictable. It made clear that recovering the Bayesian itself would be essential. Now the yacht is out of the water. Experts for the prosecution will be able to examine the physical evidence and start to come up with some answers. The salvage operation began in May, but was quickly struck by a fresh disaster. One of the divers was killed by an underwater explosion. Holy crap. The entire operation, involving dozens of experts, had to be paused. The diving team was then replaced by remote-controlled submersibles for safety, delaying the process. Fixing straps around the hull or the main body of the vessel is also tougher than anticipated. But last week, the salvage team, managed by TMC Maritime, finally cut the giant $72 million aluminum, $72 million, 72-meter aluminum mast off the yacht. Well, it's probably that expensive, allowing the hull to right itself underwater. Raising it 50 meters to surface was then a delicate 3-day operation with regular checks for any fuel spills and other pollution. Prosecutors wanted the remains of the super yacht kept as intact as possible.
So they could figure out what happened.
It was only on Sunday, dangling from a giant floating crane with multiple straps beneath its belly, that the Bayesian was ready to be carried the 16 kilometers or so towards the shore. On Monday morning, it was lowered into a metal cradle in the port of Termini Immerse, where the wreckage, now gray and battered, will be left to dry out before any formal inspection or forensic tests are conducted. In the meantime, salvage teams will retrieve the giant mast and the rigging from the seabed and do a final sweep of any other materials that may help the inquiry. Inquiry with an E. Interesting. Mr. Lynch, a tech entrepreneur sometimes dubbed Britain's Bill Gates, was last summer acquitted of fraud charges in the U.S., and the trip around Sicily with his family and friends was planned as a celebration. In the early hours of 19 August, his luxury yacht was anchored just offshore near the north of Porticello when the storm hit. There has been endless speculation about why the Bayesian sank ever since, whether doors were closed in time, or what other steps the crew took now quickly. 3 crew members, including the captain, are under investigation, but the Italian prosecution team have remained tight-lipped about their work. Last year, in their only comments to press, they said they would explore whether the accident was due to human error or potential design flaws on the yacht. Only after analyzing the wreck will we understand what happened, where the water came in, whether there was enough water to cause the ship to sink, or whether some other factor was involved. Prosecutor Raphael Camarano stressed at the time. An interim report issued last month by the British Maritime Investigation MAIB found that the Bayesian's enormous mast was vulnerable to very high wind speeds. So the investigation is going on. Let's see. Lawyers representing some of these killed described this as the most critical phase of the investigation. We'll finally be able to see which parts of the boat allowed water in, causing it to sink. Mario Bellavista, lawyer acting for the family of the amazing chef Rocaldo Thomas, told the BBC, "We can see which hatches were open or closed or any other points of entry for the water." He said the wreckage will provide the first real evidence for prosecutors. As another lawyer put it, those prosecutors now need to find out how exactly this could have happened on such an unbelievable boat. Okay, there's a boat sinking story. Kind of weird that the crew escaped and all the passengers died. That's not very common. That's highly suspicious. No?
Oh no, the rich people. Something.
I'm just saying. Well, the chef wasn't rich.
I agree that's why they want to keep it intact to see if there's any. Why did it just start doing it?
Oh, do you have? Oh wow, we lost again.
No, it started doing the weird buzzing noise again. I don't know why.
Sorry.
Not your fault.
Is it still doing it? Is it limerick time or next story time?
It's me trying to figure out if my audio is good or not. Because I'm not going to edit this later and then find out the audio is unusable for most of the show.
You want me to peek in live?
I'm looking now.
Peek in live.
I'm looking now.
Oh, okay. I do that. It really slows down my computer. I can do it on my phone.
That sounds fine to me. Okay.
All right.
Yeah, I guess it's just for some reason on my side it's very weird. Okay, limerick. I have a limerick for you.
Right on.
These giants with their hands so vast. Oh wait, sorry. This is the oil story. Oh, I thought you were doing the oil story. Sorry about that one. Okay, I don't have a limerick for this.
Okay. While I'm doing this, I'm going to talk about us. Sunken boat off the coast of Italy.
Yeah,
okay?
I'll do both of them at the end of the at the end.
Right on. Okay, I got it. Good. This is investors.com. BP stock takes off on possibility of largest deal since the Exxon Mobil merger, which is a hell like 2 generations ago by now. This is from Investors Business Daily, as it says on Investors Business Daily or investors.com. BP, which symbol is BP.
British Petroleum thing, right?
British Petroleum, right? Stock posted a volatile gains in Wednesday's stock market on a report Shell, which symbol is Shell without the E.
For the layman in there, what does volatile gains mean?
Volatile gains? Volatile gains means it gained during the day, but it went like this. Up, down, up, down, up,
down.
Okay,
so it was, people thought they lost a bunch, but they came back, and then they thought they lost it again, and
yeah, it's like you're climbing a bike, and you just keep going up and down, and in the end, you've actually climbed 1,000 feet. You went up and
down. It didn't feel that way.
That's what volatile gains are. Right. It's an uneven ride. Like a boat on heavy waters. Have we metaphored this to death yet? If the deal were to take place, it would be a large... Anyway, let me get back to the sentence. They are in early talks to acquire the oil and gas producer. So Shell is going to acquire BP. That's the merger. So Shell is the daddy. Shell is the daddy, BP is the baby in this merger.
Which is funny because...
If the deal were...
I'll do the tangent after your story. I'll do the tangent after your story.
Oh, we got a tangent too? All right. If the deal were to take place, it would be the largest oil industry combination since the $83 billion merger of Exxon and Mobil in the late 1990s. The Wall Street Journal reported Wednesday that Shell was holding early-stage talks to acquire BP, and that talks are currently active. The report cites people familiar with the matter and notes that discussions are moving slowly. Meanwhile, a Shell spokesperson told the Financial Times that no talks are taking place. Get off my lawn. BP stock soared more than 10% before carrying gains back to 1.7. Shell's like, damn it. See, BP wants this out. Shell doesn't, right? Shell's absorbing BP's debt, in other words. And that's what's probably happening here. Some stupid shit like that. And insiders know this shit because they inside trade. That's what they do. BP stock soared more than 10% before carrying gains back 1.7 because they're the ones that are being bought. So their stock became more. Meanwhile, Shell shares by the seashore fell more than 4%, then backtracked to a 1% decline. So They were an uneven, volatile decliner on the day. Beaten down by months of weak prices and demand outlooks, oil stocks are generally rebounding from deep lows. BP stock is up 6% in 25 stock market, but down 12% from its February 14th high of 35.5. Shell stock, since hitting March 2 high of 74.18, has retreated more than 7%. Among the largest oil and gas names, Chevron edged down 0.1, and there's a bunch of statistics. Exxon Mobil gained 0.1, it's an insignificant thing. U.S. oil prices slumped more than 8% on Monday to about 67.85. I don't know if we saw it on the gas pumps. Probably not, because greed. On Tuesdays, U.S. oil companies continue to retreat, U.S. oil prices continue to retreat, falling around 4% to 64.31. And there's some silly political nonsense they think that has anything to do with it. So again, oil prices are kind of stable. Kind of a war going on in Iran. This might disrupt the world economy if they shut the Strait of Hormuz, but it hasn't happened yet. So the nervous stock market has not made oil prices go up to the roof. So right now, we still get gas that's relatively cheap. And there's the story. Where's your?
Okay. I have 2 limericks, and I kind of have a theme here for some reason. I don't know why this theme is happening, but our theme is death. These giants with their hands so vast have left scars on our planet so fast. Bills and leaks at price too high, for profits they make them sigh. As nature weeps and life passes last. So let this tale serve as a sign that wealth cannot keep us from the brine. Though we may think ourselves above, it comes for us all, no matter our love. For the sea knows not a silver or dime. Isn't that? That's a whole theme. Money, rich people, yachts, sinking, death. Yeah. It was worth it, wasn't it? It was worth waiting. I also have my tangent, which I think is really funny. Back in the colonial era, the Netherlands discovered a bunch of new lands. I know there are already people living there, but technically they discovered them. Like Australia, New Zealand, all those places. I mean, that's the reason New Zealand is called New Zealand, because it's named after Zeeland, which is a province in the Netherlands. And guess who they sold all that land to? The British. But now it's kind of reversed here, right? They're buying out British Petroleum, which originally Shell was a Dutch company. I don't know if they still are. I think they moved all their assets and they moved all their assets and stuff. I think they moved it to America. But originally Shell is a Dutch company. I don't know if the founder, I don't know if anyone Dutch is still there, but
they're also the first Shell company. Oh man.
Okay, let's roll our next wheel for my next story.
Well, I'm gonna hopefully not have to write too much.
Yeah, hopefully we just get make a joke, because you've already been doing that this whole time. You've already got it going. It's it's a haiku, so
Haiku, simple enough.
Not the worst thing, I guess. Okay, let's go to here. You got a story coming from Hungary. As anyone knows, it is Pride Month, and everyone is celebrating in their different rallies and parades. But unfortunately for Hungary, they made it illegal. It's banned. From Reuters, coming out of Budapest, the European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen called on Hungarian authorities to permit the Budapest Pride Parade to go ahead after police banned the event. But technically, the government didn't ban it; the police banned it. I didn't know police had the rights to ban stuff. I thought that was lawmakers made laws, not police. Hungary did their 100. In response on Twitter, Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orban said that the European Commission should refrain from interfering in the law enforcement affairs of member states, but had no role to play. She just asked. She didn't command it. She just asked. No, shame on you. How dare you shame us for being pitted? Hungary's police banned Saturday's planned LGBTQ march last week, citing a law passed in March saying that pitting children just to see the right to assemble. The children will know and vote for children. However, Budapest's liberal mayor organized the event said that the march would be held despite ban, as it was a municipal event. Yeah, so he's coming back at the 10th rally, right? You should keep your nose out of Hungarian politics. And then they're like, well, as the government, you should keep your nose out of municipal events. Right, none of business. What we do in our municipality. We did not need a permit from the authorities. I call on all Hungarian authorities to allow Budapest Pride to go ahead without fear of any criminal or administrative sanctions against the organizers or participants, von der Leyen said in a video posted on Twitter yesterday on the 22nd. In Europe, watching your rights is a fundamental freedom, she said. Asked about the possibility that police could disperse the march on Saturday by force, Orban said in Brussels on Day the 26th that Hungary was a civilized country. We don't hurt each other. We just have our president and or prime minister in power for 12 years. That's normal. Critics have moved to ban Pride as part of a wider crackdown on democratic freedoms ahead of a general election next year, when nationalist Orban will face a strong opposition challenger. How about he faces not being allowed to be in power anymore? How about that, guys? Term limits. That's definitely something a lot of European countries need. They just need term limits. Maybe I'm too American here, but even with representatives and senators, I've always wanted term limits. I think everyone should do civil service for a limited amount of time, and then you're done. You know, if you want to destroy the country in 2 or 4 years, here's your chance, buddy. And after that, you're out of here. Or I guess 8 years, right? 2 terms for presidents. I don't know. I'm not one to come up with these rules. I just think term limits are a good idea in general. I don't like, it just makes me icky inside. It gives me the ick. That people can be in power for a decade, for 12 years, for 15 years.
A lot of places just keep their people dumb so there's nobody qualified around.
Yeah. Well, we can't vote for him. Let's just vote the guy that knows what he's doing.
Tricked. They've been tricked and they don't even know it. They vote against themselves.
Of course, Orban, who's in power since 2010, portrays himself as defending family values and said in February that organizers should not even bother organizing Pride in Budapest this year because we will protect those families, especially if that family happens to be gay. On Tuesday, Hungary's justice minister sent a letter to several foreign embassies informing them that Pride Parade was legally banned assembly, organizing and announcing of which qualifies as a criminal offense, punishable by imprisonment of up to 1 year under Hungarian law. That will protect the children. Now you don't got a dad or mom because they're in jail because they support gay rights. Minister Benz Tuzon sent his letter to embassies a day after diplomats in France and Germany and 30 other countries expressed support for Hungary's LGBTQ and Budapest Pride. Take the L, Orban. No one thinks you're cool. Only fucking Putin does. And if they want Putin on your team, you have a whole other problem with your life. This was reported by Anita Komos, Christina Thon, and edited by Alex Richardson.
Right on.
Got a
I have a haiku. It's also a pun, so you might want to get the rim shot ready. Get ready, Eric. My friend the Buddhist keeps bothering nice people. He's a Budapest.
He's a Budapest. Oh, lovely.
Has nothing to do with your story, but I just couldn't resist the fun.
There you go. I got it for you.
All right, that's time for my list. Which I won't be on the big screen.
Let me roll our wheel.
Right on. Roll away. At least I won't be scrolling the whole time. I can actually probably just...
Alliteration headline. I'll have to choose something for these songs. Last time I had alliteration headline for your list too, and I had just made alliterations off like 5 different songs.
There you go. Pretty easy, right? Okay, so the rules is the category 13 and greatest. I don't debate this. I don't even know. They're not ranked necessarily, other than my point system is assigned originality. Like all of these have written for the show. First of all, points for there was actually somebody famous singing the song. Points for it describes the show very good. Points for was it chart hit, which is always cool. So we're gonna start. And I don't know. You might know this one. Do you know the theme song for All in the Family? You know that one?
No, I can't really.
Archie is sitting at a piano. Archie needs to sit at a piano, right? But sung by Carol Connor and Gene Stapleton.
Okay.
Those were the days, right? Those were the days. You sing like that? We can do a duet.
I don't know the lyrics. I told you this. I didn't know the advance lyrics.
And they were longing for the good old days. And Archie is, he's not going to get going kicking and screaming into the future. That's the whole.
Yeah.
That's the whole premise of the show.
Let me know brown people deserve rights and stuff, yeah.
Right. And his son-in-law to Meathead. There's a lot of Polak jokes. Heard the word Polak a lot in that show. Anyway, so that's a great show, great theme song, but it really didn't describe the show. So it was just points for that. This one is the Jeffersons theme song. You know that one? Moving on up. Moving on up to the east side. Moving on up.
I don't want to disappoint you, but you know, I didn't watch these shows growing up. Or
This one is not only great song, by the way.
Yeah.
But the person who sings it was also appearing on another Norman Lear show. Jeanette Dubois played Willona. Yeah, she played Willona on Good Times, the neighbor, who is the hot neighbor, by the way. Willona, the hot neighbor, who is, always popping in for some reason. He sang Moving On Up. He sang that song. He was commissioned by Norman Lear for the show The Jeffersons. So there you go. Number 11, you know this one? The Addams Family? The creepy and the kooky, Mr.
Yeah.
Deere. You know the theme. Da-da-da-da.
Yeah, I know that part. Not the lyrics, maybe. And I guess they just say Addams Family.
I don't really know.
It's something and there's something, and they do things and they're creepy and they.
Addams Family.
I mean, that's a great example of something from my list, right? My list of songs that people change the lyrics of to say whatever they want to.
Right.
That's a good example.
I got to put that list together. I got Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. I've changed that one. Anyway, number 10 is Cheers. Cheers. The song is actually Where Everybody Knows Your Name, but the theme song is about the show. It's written for the show, and it's written and sung by Gary Portnoy. Dear Portnoy. Where everybody knows your name.
Oh, I thought that was a licensed song, actually.
And they're always glad you came.
It's so good that it sounds like a licensed song, I guess.
Right? Number 7, we start with. I'm number 9. Number 9. I was on 10. I went to 7. I think they did this last week too, so I'm gonna have to go back and edit to say the Thursday 11. Anyway, so number 9 is the Mary Tyler Moore Show.
Oh, I never saw this show, so I don't even think I've heard the.
What's the theme song? Look up the theme song. You can play that for outro today or mic drop or whatever. We'll do the Mary Tyler Moore theme song.
Okay.
Who can turn the world on with a smile?
Was this your favorite song? Your favorite?
No, this is number 9. Number 9. I don't know if it was a hit. Might have been. Not sure. Who can take a nothing day and certainly make it all seem worthwhile? Number 8 is Green Acres. Extra points for the 2 main characters singing the theme song, like I gave points to All in the Family for the 2 main characters singing song. The cadence or the tune is just shaving a haircut 2 bits, right? That's all it is. And it's sung by Eddie Albert and Ava Gabor, and it's a hilarious show. Green Acres is the place to be, and they sing it. Farm living is the life for me. And she wants to stay in New York City. He wants to live in a farm. She wants to stay in New York City. It's back and forth, and then they end up out there on the farm, of course, or you wouldn't have a show. You would just have a lawyer in New York City going to work. That would not be a show. Anyway, number 7. You got to know this one, the Brady Bunch. You got to know the Brady Bunch, right?
No,
Here's the story about a lovely lady.
The only one I can think of right now, like an old show, because you're referencing old shows as like Rawhide, but that's not really an opening theme, really. Yeah.
They're in reruns perpetually and eternally. They're in reruns perpetually and eternally. Theme songs really don't exist for shows anymore. And
no,
there's some
they don't.
that are just not really that good.
Unless you watch anime. I'm going to make a list of my favorite anime openings, and you won't know any of them, okay?
Right on. Works for me. But the Brady Bunch tells the story, and it's done by the Peppermint Trolley Company. I did not know who sang it, for instance. I didn't know the Peppermint Trolley Company sang it. Yeah, it sounds like a family of kids, doesn't it?
They had mints, and they were on a trolley, and they went down San Francisco and sang the song, I guess.
The only problem I had as a kid, right? In the very beginning, they had the 9 panes, right? Mm-hmm. They put Alice the maid in there, but she's not in the song. And I was like, why don't they add Alice into the song, man? That was my little problem as a kid. I had very many problems as a kid, as you can clearly see.
But, that was the most serious of them all.
2 or 3. There's the top 5. Number 6 is the Beverly Hillbillies, which again tells you the story right in the song. Come listen to a story about a man named Jed. I know you know this one, right? Weird Al even remade it. Well, he remade the song, but he did it in Money for Nothing. Money for Nothing. Listen here, people. Check out the Weird Al version. This one was sung by Gary Scoggins, but the music was provided by bluegrass legends Flatt and Scruggs, who actually appeared in the show multiple times. Yeah, Flatt and Scruggs played a theme song. They played the outro theme song. Flatt and Scruggs. Country music, bluegrass legends. Number 5. Flintstones. Meet the Flintstones. They're the modern Stone Age family. You know that one?
Yes, I know that one.
It's sung in movies. There you go. Flintstones by the Randy Van Horn Singers. The Randy Van Horn Singers. That probably was a hit song for somebody. A lot of people have actually covered the Flintstones, like rock bands. So that one kind of describes it. It tells you how Fred Flintstone gets around town by running in his car. And now that's like, if he's running in his car, why doesn't he just go out and walk? Anyway, it's a very introspective, questioning kid. Never made no sense to me, but I love the show, which was basically the Honeymooners in cartoon form. I'll sit right down and hear a tale of a fateful trip that started from this tropic port aboard this tiny ship. Gilligan's Island? Man. You don't know Gilligan's Island?
No,
Gilligan's Island.
I only caught these shows right by the time I was awake in life. I only caught these shows very, very late at night. It was one time when I was up, at like 4 a.m. That's when these shows would play.
Yeah, Gilligan's Island is my favorite show as a child because I became aware of how stupid Hollywood thought people were, right?
Yeah.
Like, really, they can do all this crap. They can make a radio out of a coconut. Can't fix a hole in a boat.
Sure. It completely makes sense.
Right. And why they haven't killed Gilligan, I have no idea. Anyway.
He would have definitely been cannibalized in reality.
Exactly. Gilligan would have been just, he'd been covered with ants or something. Gilligan? Anyway, but they always came back next week and followed up again. Gilligan's Island, great theme song. Number 3, you know this one, WKRP in Cincinnati. Baby,
I don't remember it, but
ever wondered whatever became of me. I'm living on the air. It actually became a hit song. It was a top 40 song, top 40 hit by... Oh, I didn't give you the Gilligan's Island singers. Those were the Wellingtons.
Wellingtons,
yeah,
okay.
Those are the Wellingtons. Yeah, the Wellingtons. Steve Carlisle sang WKRP in Cincinnati. He didn't write it, but he sang it. That's the guy who sang it. Had a hit with it. I think it made it top 40, like top 30, like 37 or something. But that's number 3, WKRP in Cincinnati. Number 2 is number 2 because it features a rock and roll Hall of Famer singing it. Not just anybody, John Sebastian of the Love is a Spoonful. The guy who opened Woodstock.
Really?
That's who John Sebastian is, yeah. John Sebastian sings Welcome Back. Welcome Back Cotter's theme song. The sweat hog teacher that goes to college, comes back to Brooklyn, and he's got to teach the same class he used to be in. Welcome Back Cotter was a great song. I think it was a number 1 hit. But anyway, for John Sebastian, The Lovin' Spoonful. And number one is, of course, Secret Agent Man. Secret Agent Man by Johnny Rivers, who had other hits like Poor Side of Town and
This
Seven
was an
Sun.
opening to a
Also had
song,
hit-
to a show?
It was written specifically for a British show that was going to be called something else, right?
Okay.
They changed the name of it. They changed the name of the song. The writers of the song did, and they sold it to the same producers for a show called Secret Agent Man. So it was written for that show. And Johnny Rivers covered it and had a top 10 hit. I might have been even number one, Secret Agent Man. Great song, great guitar riff. So there's your list.
There's our list of all the oldest
one of
theme
those.
songs in history.
Not all this, the best original theme songs. And don't say, oh, Bad Boys from Cops would have been in there, but it wasn't written for the show.
What we should do I don't know when we could do it, but we could do it in the filter. We could like swap at some point, and then I have to do some of the lists you've done, and we can see how totally different our lists are, right? Generationally, because I would have put like Steven Universe on there as I think as an original intro and outro. You wouldn't even know what that show is. You don't never even heard of it, probably.
Does it describe the show in any way?
Yes, it does.
Alright.
But I have your alliterations here for your list. I've got 4. So we've got fractured families find fervent forgiveness, fostering fulfilling futures. Adam's amusingly ancient ancestors astound. Gilligan's grand getaway gracefully garners giggles and groovy gatherings. And stealthy secret man swiftly sidesteps sinister schemes. Couldn't think of a noun for man with an S, but there you go. that should have been the lyrics. You're having a lot of fun.
Songs like that. And there's the songs like Bonanza that actually has words, but they never use them on the show.
Like I said, I can only. What about the nanny? Didn't the nanny or whatever have a theme too? Or no?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, see.
And there's one they just sing the song title with some music. That's not a theme song. That's just different shows make the world.
It has words. They say, bring it off, cut him in, turn him in, tap him up. I don't know.
You gotta play it. I don't know. I'm not old enough to remember Rawhide like you.
Oh.
Play that card. Anyway, what's my the spinning
Limerick.
now?
You write me a limerick about
Limerick.
changing your
Oh, no,
album.
what?
Yeah, just people changing their album covers because, you know, God-fearing America or something. I think it's sarcastic, but I picked the story because someone writes about it. Because as one, you just can't win. You just can't win. So pick harder. And Bill's alternate album cover approved by God for controversial album. So instead of her on her knees grabbing somebody's thigh with everything, she's now holding the back of a man and like, you know, like a hug thing and looking behind her like this. And there's a bunch of men in the room. That man's best friend. Which man's best friend cover do you prefer? And why was the original artwork so controversial in the first place? So we're going to talk about this again. Russell Singer, Sabrina Carpenter should an alternate album cover for upcoming 7 studio album. Man's best friend found significant backlash to original artwork. Carpenter posted a new cover and cheekily added this second take is approved by God. In reference to the pro-clutching accusation of sexism after the release of the first image, which depicts an artist kneeling on the floor with an unidentified person stands over her, pulls her hair. Oh no! It has a puppy kink. Let her have a puppy kink. Some criticized the suggestion, the hardly explicit cover, shot by Bryce Anderson as being regressive and leaning on tired tropes that reduce women to pets. Other defended the Grammy-winning artist's choice, saying it was satirical in commentary on power dynamics or one viral post, but it let women be horny. I agree. David Morquan said in his 20-year-old controversial album covers of time that Carpenter has every right to express herself and use sexuality, in this case, what some may perceive as a submissive kink, in any way she's fit, crucially, without being policed or harassed. Oh, you ask too much, David. You ask too much of society. Still, now fans have options. The black and white photograph of Carpenter leaning on a suited man, the gorgeous image of someone less playful. This is not the first time Carpenter has received complaints about her MO. Her MO is being a sex demon, and whenever she acts like a sex demon, people are like, how dare you act like that? What are you doing? What are you doing that for? She has been pop's horniest and desired to distance herself from the self-serious of the current pop landscape. Yeah, add a little levity in life. Be a little pop horny. Carpenter's live performance often lets see the singer embrace her sexuality, playfully striking suggestive poses. This year at the Brit Awards, singer's racy performance proved controversial, prompting some viewers to joke about Ofcom complaints. The UK has no ground to stand on here. What are they? They have a show where a dating show where people meet each other by only looking at their genitals, right? They don't see their face. They They only see their genitals and they decide yes or no to go on a date with them. And they're gonna say, oh, Sabrina Carpenter did a sex position on stage. Oh no, my loins. I don't know. Some viewers expressed that the provocative moments were unnecessary, with one viewer writing, it's like watching live pornography. It's supposed to be a family show. I don't think The Brits has ever been a family show. Have you watched The Brits? Whatever. Yeah, make up some bullshit so you can get your pearl clutching. Despite the controversies, Carpenter refused to be shamed and has responded to criticism by saying, my message has always been clear. You can't handle a girl who is confident in her own sexuality, then don't come to my shows. It's always so funny to me when people complain, he told Rolling Stone. They're like, all she does is sing about this. But those are the songs that you made popular. Clearly you love sex. You're obsessed with it. Carpenter added, I don't want to be pessimistic, but I truly feel like I've never lived in a time where women have been picked apart more and scrutinized in every capacity. I'm not talking about me. I'm talking about every female artist that is making art right now. Side tangent, this reminds me of a thing that you probably will never experience because you're not a woman. But women on the internet cannot win. Okay, if you do something for yourself, there will be someone out there who's going to criticize you for doing it. And I think one example somebody was using when on my threads was like OnlyFans. Women on OnlyFans would be like, oh, look at you. You're just cheap losing your body. You're losing your value. Oh man, what does your husband think? What does your boyfriend think? What does your dad think? Right? And then if a man goes on OnlyFans, wow, you bro, you're so brave, you know? Here's more money so you can buy the 80K Mercedes-Benz or whatever. You know? If women make money selling their body, it's a big deal. It's a big problem for people out there. And this is just another example of women just can't win. Do something for yourself without any cares. People will still be angry at you, and that's why you just. I learned about this. I've already been practicing this, but I was watching a YouTuber talk about this, and I realized I've been practicing this myself. Stoicism. Only you can control how you feel and what people say about you. So if somebody says you're fat to me, I can go, okay, and I don't care, right? Or you can go, you know what? I am fat. I'm gonna hyper focus on my fatness and go on a diet. You know that in stoicism, right? That is you have the control on how you react. I practice what people say.
I practice sarcasm. Sarcasm's similar to that. It's like, yeah, you're fat. And sarcasm, you go, yeah, better watch out I don't eat you. Anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Good luck. So, anyways, I think that's what Sabrina
running away from me and my fork.
This is what Sabrina's practicing, I think, here. She's like, you guys need to look in the mirror. Right. You're making me exactly how I am. Right? Oh, why are you so popular for sex songs? I don't know. Ask the 5 million people listening to my sex songs. I mean, other songs not about sex, but you guys only want to listen to the sex songs. Elsewhere.
Did she remake My Neck, My Back?
Yeah. Elsewhere, the leader of the New York City church, where the pop star filmed provocative scenes for a music video, was stripped of his duties last year for letting somebody do sex in his church, I guess. After church officials said an investigation revealed other instances of mismanagement. Very convenient. You know that guy who had the orgy in the church? We also found out he was giving money to the poor. Oh no, he's supporting prostitution and poor people. That's very unchristian. Wait a minute. Didn't Jesus help prostitutes and poor? No, that was a different Jesus. That was the other guy. Jesus, yeah. Same spelling, different guy. Sabrina Carpenter's new album, Man's Best Friend, drops on the 29th of August, so if you want to support a woman who's just trying to fucking make art, and whether it's controversial or not, she's still gonna make it. It comes just 1 year after her global success of her short and sweet album, which features the chart-topping hit Espresso, Taste, and Please, Please, Please. They also have their own list, I guess. I guess we'll read that list another time. 20 most controversial album art covers. I think you can guess some of these, like Nirvana. Right, that one's pretty controversial because the child was not asked consent, you know? Yeah. And later in life, the child was actually like, you're not allowed to use my baby image Because no one asked me. I was a baby. No one asked me if I wanted to be on a famous album cover. Hello? Anyways.
Right.
Tangent aside.
That's tough.
Were you able to write a limerick?
Yeah, I've been rewriting it. You're missing the obvious one, but it's in my limerick. Offended people mad at artists they love. They whine and pleaded to the powers above. She looks like a whore! But we've seen this before on Spinal Tap Smell the Glove.
Why is she dressed like that? Because she wants to. Leave her alone. Yeah. I mean, yet again, from the last time we talked about this, which I think was like 2 weeks ago. Right, Sabrina people even are trying to say she's a victim, right, of her label. The label's making her be sexy. It's like, okay.
Oh, yeah.
We're not living in the 40s Hollywood where, you know, women were actually objects of the label company, right? We have way more freedoms now, and I think she would have even said, you know what, I don't want to be sexy, my label. She could easily have said that, right? Nobody would blame her if she said, I don't want to be sexy, my label's for me. But she didn't.
Right. You go to any, but my point was, and you made the point, but this is a different point, as you go to any thread about this album cover, 80% is, smell the glove by Spinal Tap, smell the glove, Spinal Tap, smell the glove. And if you remember Spinal Tap, that's the one the record company didn't want them to put out, so they put out a blank album instead with no title, nothing, right?
Yeah.
Which is pretty well, a blank album. What is that? Who could buy it?
What is this white square, or was it a black square?
It's how Metallica actually did it, so I
the
really
black album. Oh, for one, also white, like a Justice label. These are famously colors, right? These are literally has 4 different albums on colors. Yeah.
Anyway, there's a little history lesson on Spinal Tap movie, part 2 coming up, by the way.
Oh, yeah, right. I think you talked about this.
You gotta see them in concert. You gotta see them in concert. They're still around. So gotta see them in concert because they also do the folk group, right? They do a folk group after they do the rock band, or they do it before rock band, whatever. People don't. A lot of people don't realize it's 2 bands, or the same band, same group of guys.
I know you were a fan of that band. Like, yeah.
What was the name of their folk band? What's the name of their folk band? Same. They did the movie The Mighty Wind. The same. Christopher Guest, Mike McCain, and Gary Shearer. Same 3 guys. Of course, Christopher Guest most famous for being Mr. Jamie Lee Curtis. Okay, this day in history. Spin the wheel.
Spin the wheel. And before I get into the limerick. Limericks.
Another limerick. Oh,
I actually called it, man. Yeah, it actually landed on a limerick. Wow. I'm to the future.
Okay, we're going to go all the way back to the Plantagenet regime, whatever we call it. 1483, Richard Plantagenet, Duke of Gloucester, began his reign as Richard III after usurping power from his nephew, Edward V, who probably was a usurper at some point in his life. Anyway, yeah, bunch of usurping MFers is what they were. 1721, with support from Puritan minister Cotton Mather, Jedale Boylston began the first smallpox vaccinations in American colonies. Yes, vaccinations have existed for over 300 years. Take that, you anti-vax idiots, Mr. Brainword Buddy. Also, a Puritan minister, really, by the way, not necessarily known for their support of science. 1819, U.S. Army officer Abner Doubleday, looks like the inventor of baseball, was born. A 1907 finding that was later discredited by evidence of baseball's connection with the older English game rounders. Okay, so whatever. He invented a version of baseball that people played.
I think people still play rounders, but it's like people play kickball, right? It's like a full ground sport. There's no league. Yeah. Maybe there is a league. I don't know.
Rounders divided support for cricket, or now you put in for cricket, so they say fuck it, rounders. 1904, American motion picture actor Peter Lorre was born in Belgrade, Hungary. We were just talking about Hungary. Happy birthday, Peter Lorre. Probably not the best. Who was first achieved international fame as a psychotic child murderer in the German classic film M. You know Britannica is going to mention the psychotic child murderers. Peter Lorre played Igor Tiger a lot, like, yes, master. He played that guy a lot. He also was in Casablanca. 1945, the Charter of the United Nations was signed in San. What?
Wasn't he the Frenchman in Casablanca? The guy like, this is gonna be a beautiful friendship at the end. Was that the same actor?
No, that wasn't. It wasn't Louis the Cop. It wasn't Louis the Cop. It was. He was like a servant. I could tell you exactly who he played, but I'm having brain fog right now. But he's in the movie.
I recognize
has
his
a couple
face.
of pretty good lines.
Yeah, I recognize his face.
1945, the Charter of the United Nations was signed in San Francisco. So if you got your United Nations Day today, there you go. It's their anniversary. Today is their 80th anniversary of the United Nations. 1948, American writer Shirley Jackson's best-known work, the short story The Lottery, was first published in New Yorker. It tells a powerful allegory for barbarism and social sacrifice. I had to read that in school. I forget which school though. 1963. No, it could have been Community college, could have been high school, but I know I read it.
I don't
1963.
think I had to read this
during
one.
Cold
Yeah,
War,
that was not in my AP literature list, I guess.
It's it's not exactly a fun story. 1963, during the Cold War, U.S. President John F. Kennedy delivered his famous "Ich bin ein Berliner" speech in West Berlin, which means "I am a Berliner." Which
Even though he's from Austria.
Irish. Anyway, yeah. He's not from Austria. He's Irish. He's Irish. His dad was a Kennedy and his father was a Fitzgerald.
Oh, sorry, we're talking
That's why
about
his name was
Kennedy,
John
yeah.
Fitzgerald. Grandparents for Kennedys and Fitzgeralds. He's Irish. 1974, American baseball player Derek Jeter, one of the most overrated players in the history of baseball, helped the New York Yankees win multiple World Series, was born. Yay, Derek Jeter. Would never know your name except you played for the Yankees. That's all I got to say. Wasn't the best shortstop, wasn't the best hitter, but yeah, Yankees, yeah, they won a lot of games. He was a captain, put him in Hall of Fame. Okay. Whatever.
A slur for
Again, we're all
being
supposed to celebrate.
Dutch, by the way.
Not,
There's a lot of
number,
Dutch
number
people
one
are
problem.
called Jans, so Yankee was the slur for anti-Dutch.
Oh, is that right? Yankee.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, he plays for the New York Slurs. Right. And he won multiple World Series. Good for him. Happy birthday to Derek Jeter. Don't mean I hate him or anything. It's just like, I just like, the news media in America has like they talk about two or three basketball teams, and they talk about two or three baseball teams, and ignore the rest of them unless like there's a no-hitter or something.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, 1977, Elvis Presley performed in public for the last time. He wasn't asked to. He was just at a bar, drink it. No, I'm just kidding. He performed at an actual concert. I'm being a smartass again. 1979, after almost 20 years of professional fights, heavyweight champion Muhammad Ali announced his retirement from boxing about 5 years too late. The damage had already been done. The rope-a-dope did him in. He took too many punches to the head.
Too many
1997, J.K. Rowling's Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, also called Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, was first published in London. The book launched a hugely popular series about a boy wizard. Has it been that long? 1997. And I cannot be mad at her because he helped teach my children how to read. I can't deny that.
Yeah, that's true. We did read all of the books multiple times, some of us.
Very young children. Yeah, absolutely. Again, doesn't make you anything but a fan of literature, right? Right, 2003, American politician Strom Thurmond, who is one of the longest-serving senators in U.S. history and a prominent states' rights and segregation advocate, died at the age of 100. Of course, Strom Thurmond was the biggest Democrats in the world, had a black child he didn't acknowledge, and wanted to keep black people out of white schools because who fucking knows? Can't think of a reason still.
What are they gonna do there? They're gonna teach them how to put spices in their gumbo. No.
Because again, the South is what's been holding back the United States for the entirety of our 250-year history, holding us down like a slave being held down. Anyway, in 2013, the United States versus Windsor, the U.S. Supreme Court struck down the provision of the Defense of Marriage Act, which defined marriage for federal purposes a legal union between one man and a woman, which is complete horseshit. Marriage is a contract. What if they said corporations could only merge if one was male and one was female? Wouldn't it be a stupid rule? Wouldn't it? Real would. That's what you're asking. That's all a marriage is. It's a sharing of assets. Hey, Exxon, you can't merge with Mobile. You're the same sex. They would laugh you out of court. Anyway. It's just, that's all it is. It's an asset sharing contract. That's all a marriage is. The only legal process, it doesn't say anything about who can have sex with anybody, stop having sex, go have sex. It's an asset sharing document.
If we
Nothing
let
else.
men share assets and women share assets, what's going to stop men people from sharing assets? And then they can be a conglomerate, and then they can have more power, because as we know, America's run by money.
Again, number one tax dodgers in the world, churches are opposed to this.
Yep.
The people that don't even pay taxes are opposed to it. They can go take a running jump off a short pier. 2015 is more events in this day. We had, well, let's see. More events in this day. 2015, the Obergefell versus Hodges, the U.S. Supreme Court ruled that we just did that, did we not? Whoop, whoop, whoop. No, it's the same. No, it's 2 years later. On Obergefell versus Hodges, U.S. Supreme Court ruled that state bans on same-sex marriage were unconstitutional. Writing for the majority, Justice Anthony Kennedy, who was appointed by a Republican, stated that no longer may this liberty be denied. Then he immediately resigned and was replaced by a fascist.
Thanks a lot, dude.
There you go.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah. I wonder why he resigned. It must have been blackmail. Had to be. June 26, also in 1976, our featured event, the CN Tower, which opened to the public in this day in 1976, was at 18,015 feet, the world's tallest freestanding structure, until being surpassed in 2007 by the Burj Khalifa in Dubai.
The CN Tower is in Toronto.
Toronto. I was like, yeah, it looks
for the
familiar.
Canadian National Railway Company. It was built for them.
All right. Way to go, Canucks. That's a slur, by the way. Babe Dietrichson's Zaharias' birthday today. Yeah, the greatest female athlete of the 20th century, born June 26, 1911, died very young, at cancer at age 45 in Galveston, Texas. She was an Olympian, pentathlete, I guess that's what they call it, or heptathlete. Played professional golf. Probably could have played football. Who knows? She was a great athlete. Other birthdays today: Salvador Allende, president of Chile. Paul Thomas Anderson. He was born in 1908. Paul Thomas Anderson, born in 1970, American screenwriter, director. We covered Derek Jeter. Michael Vick, American football player and ferocious advocate of pit bull fights. Yeah. That's prison for
no one's ever
cruelty.
going to let him forget that.
Why should they? 1980, Michael
saying.
Vick, born. Happy birthday. Yeah. Well, he's 45 today. Happy birthday to Michael Vick. Ariana Grande. Guess how old she is today? She's slightly older than you.
34.
But 32. She's 32. Born in 1933.
I don't know why I said that. I literally see it right here, but you told me to guess. So I just guessed.
It's a lot of things today. I know. It's a lot of things today. National Barcode Day, National Coconut Day. So if you want to pretend you're on a horse,
put a lime in a coconut and drink it all up.
Yeah, put the lime. You know that song. You know a lot of old songs. National Handshake Day. So yeah. And National Bomb Pop Day. Those are those frozen treats. National Chocolate Pudding Day and National Beautician's Day. It's all of those damn things. I would get among those. I would
get your beautician a chocolate cake today, or chocolate pudding. Sorry, when she's giving you that nail. Go to the nail salon or something.
We'll get that special treatment where they rub chocolate pudding on your face.
Oh no, that one sounds like acne to me.
And take a coconut bath. Those are your days for today.
Good.
Everything for Thursday. Your countdowns, all that crap. Your complete waste of time. For Thursday, June 26, 2025, on Before Coconuts and Chocolate Pudding.
All right, here is my limericks. We've got...
Holy smokes, more limericks, yeah.
But then came forth a hero bold, who sought a cure, his spirit uncontrolled. Edward Jenner took the lead. From cowpox he did proceed to save mankind from this dreadful spoil. In city where stars do shine so bright, lived Ariana, a radiant light. With her voice like an angel so pure, her music would make you feel secure. In her song, she tells tales of delight. Speaking of delight,
Oh.
with swirls of cosmic delight, it danced in the moonlight. Its flavor a dream, a sweet celestial theme. Oh, how it ignited our plight. And that's about the Bomb Pop Day, which famously a lot of people who take ecstasy eat those kind of popsicles because it makes you taste flavors stronger when you're on ecstasy. That's why I said it danced in the moonlight in that lyric.
You've heard from a friend.
No, I've never actually done ecstasy. No, I don't do drugs. I'm like 100% straight edge. I don't even drink alcohol. But no, that's what Robert told me because he goes, you went to a lot of raves as a, as a younger person.
Right.
And that's what they always sell these. I'm serious. They always sell these popsicles every time. It also gets really hot in a rave because there's a lot of bodies.
Did you send me a video?
I thought we were doing the married words.
Okay.
Mary
So
Taylor
I'll boot
Moore.
it up here.
Yeah, I can send it to you. Here. I actually send you the link.
No,
I thought
I'll
you could
just
just.
find.
No, I think it's quicker if I just
Well, I
send you a
could.
link because I have the link still. I sent you the link.
Alright.
Meanwhile, let me do the
Yeah, you're kind of on
outro.
my
This has
slow
been.
ass
Oh,
computer.
actually, let's just stay there. What am I thinking? This has been Allison
Hey,
here
you got
from
your
the
United
Netherlands.
Nations,
Oh,
eh?
actually,
United Nations birthday, man.
it's not actually on here. What it is International Day Against Drug Abuse and Illicit Trafficking, and United Nations International Day in support of victims of torture. So they don't even celebrate their own signing. Maybe it wasn't officially.
Oh.
They just signed the paper, but it wasn't officially started until later. I have no idea what the actual
Hey,
day
maybe
they celebrate.
Botanic is just full of,
Yeah, maybe.
they missed the day. They missed the day by a couple of years or something, or who knows.
So speaking of ecstasy,
It
make
wasn't.
sure to support people who are having drug problems, because as anyone who's educated knows, drug problems aren't an indicator of low morals or being a lesser human, but consequences of living in a tough world, and in some cases, a illicit crime ring where they just get you addicted, and then hey, now you have to buy for us forever. You have a permanent customer. Woohoo!
Yeah, and if you're like me, you know that the #1 coping drug in the world is sugar.
Yep.
So
And caffeine too.
Don't even
and
act like it's
alcohol
not
and
addictive.
cigarettes. There's a lot of legal drugs
nobody-
out there. Yep.
Nobody's selling that shit to 5-year-olds. So I'm saying, all right. Well, caffeine and colas, but yeah, sugar is sold to children. So yeah.
Speaking of popsicles, huh? Then it's also
For kid.
United
do you
Nations
cope with a kid
International
acting?
Day in support of victims of torture. Torture is already a terrible thing, but what's even worse is that people who escape torture situations do not have the support to get out of it and get their life back on track. So there is no excuse for torture, and of course, but there is reasons to help healing through rehabilitation and making humans believe that they can trust each other again after going through terrible things. Now, this has been Allison from the Netherlands and Roger from the East Coast of the U.S. as I knock something off my desk as we finish off this Thursday 13 episode with all our I should start calling it Technical Troubles Thursday because it happened again for the second week in a row. We had all these technical difficulties. I'm sure I'm gonna find out the results of this stream later when I edit this episode. But have a good rest of your day, guys. We will see you tomorrow for our Friday news dump. We'll cover all the news you need to hear before the weekend, so you don't have to worry about it. You can have a free, either rainy, summery, cold, whatever, healthy weekend without worrying about the stress of the news. So subscribe, turn on those notifications so you know when we go live and post a video. Now, for our intro, outro, mic drop music.
I know this song.
Yeah, I get those drums. It's very loud, huh?
Hey, do you want to move to Minneapolis?
If you say so. I know places that look like this outside my house. Maybe not the city. This looks a lot like Rotterdam.
Rotterdam looked like Minneapolis in 1973. Same place.
Yeah, I don't recognize the song at all, by the way, just in case you're curious.
You agree it's like a really nice song, all right?
Yeah, hug all your old balding men. Kiss him on the cheek.
And there's Judge Smale. Judge Smale, she smashed his hat.
And then somebody stole her hat and didn't return it. Rude.
Be sure to hit the like, subscribe, and notify buttons, and follow our other channels, Toxic Alley, History of Gravy, and Scratchy Old Records.